government officials insist that this is an isolated incident.
Warning. The following program contains explicit language and mature content. It is not meant for the easily offended. So if you are an emotional pussy, please refrain from listening. Thank you and enjoy.
Yes. Welcome back. Another edition of the Buzz Podcast. Your boy Cujo. All right, in solo again until Jules gets out of jail. Gets out of rehab. I don't know where the fuck he's at now. Remember, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, that bell notification, all that good stuff on the YouTube. Tell your friends, tell your mama, tell your mama's boyfriend. Let her know where we could be found. Dude, this is the only spot that's all. Try to get as much local people as we can. Show everybody the love here that we have in the 915. As you see on the camera here, and you see on the hat that I'm rocking here, CFC, Combat Fighting Championship President. He goes by the name of Roland Rios. He's a president. He's a fighter. He's a business owner. He's a man of many hats. Roland, appreciate you coming out. How's CFC business going?
It's fortunately going pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, like I always tell people that, I get to tell the story every single time that I sit down on a meeting with a new prospect, whether it is for a sponsor. So I kind of have this like down pretty good, but it's going really good,
right?
Especially for what Carlos and I thought it was gonna be when we first started this. It was definitely not something I didn't expect to be at the spot where we're at today. A year and a half ago.
Damn. So you guys started a year and a half ago.
Yeah. So wow. The idea came to, well, let me go back. So 2.5 years ago, I started training with Carlos. You know, at the time he was my coach. I was just trying to lose some weight.
Right.
And I was like, some good cardio, some kickboxing, and I fell in love with the sport itself. First of all, through other businesses, I was actually sponsoring some of the fighters that were under Carlos's wing at his gym.
Okay.
And the question came up, hey, why are these guys traveling so far? Because that's why they need a sponsorship. They needed plane tickets, all that kind of stuff. And then he's like, well, there's nothing really going on here. The closest we travel to is Albuquerque.
Okay.
That's not too bad, but still
4 hours.
It's 4 hours,
Right.
And then when he said we have nothing going on here, that set me off. Immediately, my business background acumen, kicked in, and I was like, supply and demand.
Right.
We have fighters, we have talent. How come we don't have a platform for them? So that idea came to mind right away, and I said, Carlos, why don't we do something? Carlos was a little hesitant at the time. He was like, well, the paperwork, the business, and I was like, oh, that's my thing, Let me jump on that. So that was again early on when I started training with him. It took about 6 months.
Okay.
And then actually somebody else started, a promotion here locally. We were not the first ones.
Okay.
And I say that we were the first ones to do it, right?
Okay, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but this guy started, and it took Carlos and I to attend this show, and then he's like, "Dude, we can do so much better than this." And I was like, "I've been telling you, let's do this." It was drunk talk.
Oh, dude, that's the best kind. That's when all the great ideas come out, and all the great businesses start that way, though.
Yeah.
So, when you're getting ready for the first fight. When you're trying to get this thing together, how nerve-wracking was it to put together something that El Paso hasn't really seen before? With the exception of is that other company still around?
I think they're still, they've changed names, they've changed partners, but they're still,
they're still relevant.
Yeah, at the time I think they were, and I'll put the names out there, we actually, we're huge supporters of, our, I would the so-called competitors,
right.
We need them to farm, the talent that we're not able because we're at at a higher stage, there's certain people that we don't debut, that they will, and we get to see talent there, and then we're we
come this way.
Yeah, exactly. So there's there's plenty of market for everyone.
Right. So what was that? So right now, just remember, get your mic a little bit closer.
Yes.
No, you can move the mic around. That way you can feel comfortable. Yeah. So what was that first, getting together, just because I mean, I know from what little experience we have with the pillow fight that we put together, that's nowhere near the show that you guys put on. Like not even remotely in the same. It's not even the same fucking sport. Shit, it's not even close. But because I know I went to your was it last year, earlier this year, CFC 3. I was freezing my balls off.
That was April. Yeah.
Yeah, and that shit was slammed. What was it like, putting that first show together?
So the first one, we tried to actually do it in New Mexico.
Okay.
Just because the athletic commission out there is a little more lax, and one of our co-founders, David Ortega, at the time, he has some ties with the winery out there, like the La Viña.
Okay.
So we tried that place. There was some limitations, like they only wanted so many people. They only wanted us to go so late in the evening. And I was like, this doesn't make sense. I'm not gonna be able to cover expenses. And although I liked it, I didn't want to lose money on the process, right? Yeah. So we started knocking on the doors. We went to Sunland Park Casino. I got a hard no. They were like, hey, if you don't want to waste your time, you can send me the proposal. But if you don't want to waste your time, don't even send it.
Wow.
I was like, wow, okay, perfect.
Damn.
And I'm glad. I'd rather get a hard no.
Yeah. Right off the bat.
Than shoot it to me, and then I'm following up, and I'm wasting my time. Yeah. So everything happened in the line for a reason. So I ended up getting a sit down with Speaking Rock.
Okay.
And then Speaking Rock, they've been great to us. We wouldn't be able to be at the stage that we're at, and we wouldn't be able to be who we are if it wasn't for their support.
Yeah.
I'm super grateful for them. But it was, we were nobodies. Carlos had been putting on events at his local gym, smokers, exhibitions like that, kind of like the one that you see me participate on recently. And so that was a solid base. He already had done a good job, but that was from day one. That was our focus. I told Carlos, I said, hey, look, you already have the fan base of your fighters. You have their teams, you have their families, you have their friends.
Right.
That's secured. What we need to do is we need to have the average Joe that doesn't know these guys to be interested. I told them from day one, we're not putting fights together. We're putting on a show.
Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I know, like I said, first had for the, CFC 3 that I went out to at Speaking Rock, I think it was like 30 degrees. I mean, it was cold as fuck. I know nothing about MMA. Yeah. I'm a boxing guy. So I'm like completely lost. But the show you guys put on was phenomenal. I was like I even forgot that I was cold. I was so into it. I was like, damn, this is wild. It looked like a UFC fight in our backyard.
Yep.
And that was wild to me. Like I said, the way you guys, I don't know if it's all your guys' set up. It's a combination between Speaking Rock and whoever it is. The whole outlook of it is so fucking dope. And it was so cool. Also, like I said, that it was so cold, but it was slammed. There was a lot of people.
Yep.
How many fights do you usually get? For CFC 1, how many fights did you have on the card?
We always average about 12 to 14 fights. We typically schedule about 16, and then we have some fall through, it's normal. Actually, the most recent one has been the shortest, because we lost a lot. We lost, I think, 6 fights.
Damn. Injuries or?
Injuries, fighters missing weight, that kind of stuff, people pulling out. Carlos knows more about all those details. He's the one that runs the fight affairs side of things. But yeah, like you mentioned that day, coldest day of the year so far.
Yeah.
We didn't do the event in March because we're like, it's gonna be too cold.
Yep.
Well, guess what? The coldest day,
we pushed back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, but it was honestly, out of everything that could have happened, that was the best thing that happened. Because that same week, leading up to that week, we had the dust storms. It was like when it looked like we were in Mars or Dubai. Out here, there was rain. Actually,
but that morning it rained.
That morning, actually, it kept getting pushed.
Yeah.
I remember it was rain 0% of rain like at 11 a.m. And then it pushed to noon, and then it actually stopped raining at like around 2.
Jeez.
But there was always that like 0%. I was like, you know what? And I told the guys, I said, we're rolling with it. We're gonna keep setting up, and if we had to announce that it's getting pushed back, it is what it is. But like, let's talk about nerve wracking. You know,
Right.
like I was nervous, but I had to keep my composure because if I'm
The boss is nervous. It's a shit show for everybody else.
Exactly, and I said, you know what, like watch, like it's gonna like the sky is gonna open, and Marco, you know, like you met Marco before, you know, Marco was like, dude, look, he's like he felt like, you know, like God just opened the, you know, like the sky, like, you know, because it looked great, you know,
Right.
it was like you see the sunshine coming in like through the you know, through the clouds, and you know, like it just stopped raining, and then we actually opened doors a little bit late, like 15 minutes.
Right.
But it was amazing. I'm sorry to keep the
No,
people
you're
waiting, but you know, like the you know, the line, you know, was going all the way from Old Pueblo down Alameda and Zaragoza. Like it was like wrapping around the casino. So like the entertainment center, Speaking Rock, you know, like, so it was good to see that, you know, that people, even though it was raining, they were down to, you know, like wait in line and do what they want to do just to watch the show.
Oh yeah, and like I said, the whole show from start to finish. 'Cause I think I got there probably a few fights in, and I was like it was just nonstop action from start to finish. Like there was probably like a 10-minute pause somewhere because I guess the other guys, because people were getting knocked out really, really quick. And I think everybody else is still trying to warm up because they have. So I'm assuming they have like a. Do you give like a general schedule of when you think they're gonna fight, like a time slot, or is it just?
There's really no time slots. Like if we were actually to go the full distance, we would actually end past 2 a.m. Right. So that's kind of like, and we're fortunate that Speaking Rock is like, hey, have as long as of a time as you need. That's fine. But Carlos does such an amazing job at putting the right fights together. That we have a finish ratio, you know, of like, I think about 85%, you know, like for example, our last event, you know, we had a total of 11 fights and 8 of them were finished through either like knockout, TKO, or like submission. Right. And now that doesn't mean that we're putting, you know, like a completely different levels. It's just, it's good fights, you know, whether you're putting, you're matching a grappling guy versus a striker, you know, and like you see, like, you know, like this guy's gonna try to go for the takedowns, but then this guy's gonna, you know, like keep him away with the striking and catch him, you know, like like when he's trying to, you know, like get him on the ground. So Carlos does an amazing job at matchmaking.
So when you guys are doing it, I know it's weird 'cause the way MMA has taken like the country by storm, right? Over the last 20 years, there was a time when you would say when they first started coming out and they're threatening boxing, and everybody's like, "There's no way it's gonna overtake boxing." Now I don't even know where I could watch a boxing match because there's so many different outlets, and everybody's so worried about keeping their record at a certain without the O, and nobody wants to take that fight. And then the one thing that I do love about MMA, especially with the way Dana White is doing it, is the champion fight's number one. That's it. Yeah, it's no if, and, or, but. Oh, let me fight number 10. No, the top guys go at it, and that's the best way to do it. And it's crazy to see how much local talent we have. When you're trying to get a fight going, like how's the talent coming through? Like, do you guys have to go out and search for it, or are you guys at the point now where it just comes like calling at you?
I literally just had one DM come last night.
Okay.
And I forwarded over to Carlos. Yeah. Because we get so many DMs now. And it was this agent from Florida trying to migrate this karate combat champion, which karate combat is a pretty big enterprise already too. And he's trying to migrate to MMA, and I was so flattered to hear that this fighter wanted to fight for us specifically. Yeah. And this is a dude, he's not from town. You know, we've had a lot of reach, in the short amount of time that we've been around, And I honestly, a lot of it comes from, you know, like even from our first show. Again, it all goes back to the support that we get from Speaking Rock,
Right.
the warm up area for the fighters, Cujo.
Yeah.
Like it was, we set up, you know, like a fruit bar. We set up like a, you know, like a stand with granola bars, with protein bars, protein water, Prime, you know, all this different, you know, like stuff for them. And to them, it was like we were treating them like royalty.
Right.
You know, to me, like that's the standard, like minimum accommodations that I should have for anybody that I'm either, you know, like doing business with, or, you know, like let alone if they're the show.
Right.
You know, so these guys are like, all the fighters were recording this, uploading it, like, hey, like this is the way every like promotion should be doing it. And I was like, wow. You know, like to me, it was, and I think that's where my, you know, me coming from a different industry, I just brought in like, you know, like normal business practices, you know,
Right.
and then these guys highly appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
So like we've been spreading the word, like, you know, through the fighters, through the attendees, like, you know, getting that feedback from you. It tells me that we're doing things right. Okay. Because when you tell me that, hey, look, I'm more of a boxing fan.
Yeah.
I went, you know, I don't really know any of the fighters, but I went and I enjoyed the show. Like there was like nonstop action. There was nonstop, you know, like I had fun the whole time. That's exactly what we want to do, because we're talking about a 5 to 7 hour long show.
Yeah.
Right. So like you want to keep people in the seat. You want to keep them entertained. It's a long time for people to stay out there.
Right.
So I think we've done a good job. And I mean, but there's so much more room to cover. I'll tell you this, like I was a boxing fan, you know, I'm still a boxing fan, but honestly, I think we had not seen a good boxing fight in a long time until, like, you know, this the last week, you know.
Last week there was a lot of good fights on that card.
Yes.
Surprisingly.
I mean, it took Dana White, you know, to take over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think Dana White really had anything to do with it. I think he was just promoting. I think it was that Prince that basically got that card together, from what I kept on reading. Because I know there's a lot of people that are talking shit about Dana, about it. He's like, dude, you had nothing to do with it. But the fact that he was there, it brought a lot of attention. And I don't know if he had anything or not to, but it you know, depends where you read it, right?
Yeah.
The fact that he was involved, and it was one of the better fights I think I've seen, top to bottom, in a long fucking time.
That's the common denominator, right? You mentioned, you know, like in the UFC, I mean, if you're number one, you're fighting, you know, like number two, or you're fighting, like, unless you recently fought him, right?
Right.
But like they're fighting the best talent out there.
Yeah.
You know, so like, I mean, he gets involved, and like now we're seeing actual, you know, like guys go toe to toe, like, you know, like somebody actually challenges. And it was, I mean, like, I gotta stand behind, you know, Canelo, you know, with my Mexican heritage. But at the end of the day, I mean, this other, like Terrence Crawford, like, you know, he stepped up like 2 or 3 weight classes.
2 weight classes,
you know, like to fight him, and that's I mean, I all but respect to the dude.
Oh yeah,
you know?
And now I was talking about it with my pops, with, you know, some of the other friends that, you know, are big in boxing. Like Canelo is great because he's so powerful. His biggest Achilles is boxing. When he fights a slick boxer like a Floyd Mayweather, a Crawford, that's when he has a little bit more problems, because he's so used to going toe to toe and getting that one solid punch.
Yeah, relying on that one, you know.
And with this kid, he was so slick that, I mean, even when he caught him, he didn't catch him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this, I mean, and all, you know, big kudos to Crawford. He was not really one negative thing to say. The dude, after the fight, he gave Canelo his belts back in front of his kids, give his kids. I mean, it was all respect. That dude showed what sportsmanship is like, right? What it should be in boxing. That's the boxer that the people's champion call him.
Yeah, if I know my Dana, I think we have a trilogy coming up. You know, like I called that from I called that from like before the fight. I said, hey, like we haven't seen a trilogy like this in a long time. So I actually think, because everybody was like, no, Canelo's gonna win. You know, like, you know, it's rigged. You know this.
Right.
That's what Dana does. Like, he gets the rig out of the game. Like, it's like, hey, let's make good fucking boxing. Let's make good combat sports.
The only thing with the trilogy for that is, I don't know, because he's 38. So he's up there in age. He's 3 years older than Canelo. Yeah, you know, he managed. And that's his first fight that he had in a year, too. So,
and I mean, a trilogy will probably take about 1.5 years, you know? Like, it wouldn't be that, you know, like, they're not going to, like...
Yeah, but Canelo only fights, like, what, twice a year now?
Yeah.
So, I mean, who knows? I mean, if it is, great. I mean, like I said, it's great. My whole thing is the beginning fights. Every fight from where There's that one dude, the one Cuban guy who was trained here in El Paso, who was on the undercard, who took on a dude who barely had his first loss. He was 21. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Knocked him out in the first minute and a half.
Oh, wow.
The dude was putting it on him. Then after that, you had Vargas Jr.'s kid come out, and
I saw that.
he was getting his ass handed to him.
Yeah.
Then after that, the fight right before the main fight, Jesus Christ. These guys stayed in the middle of the ring just like
Just
Rocco
banging.
Sock'em boxing.
I was at a wedding.
Old school boxing.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
I was at a wedding, so I didn't get to watch. I just watched the main event.
Yeah.
I was trying to be respectful, to the to the wedding.
But you're in the fight game, though.
No, but I actually arrived a little late because I was watching Noche UFC.
Okay.
Did you watch that? Like the main,
No,
the main event?
I-
Holy cow! Like Diego Lopez versus Jan Silva.
Okay.
Amazing fight. When you have a chance, go watch the recap. It was great. And then also the co-main event. So Raul Rosas Jr. got injured, so
Okay.
he stepped down. And then they had this guy that wasn't even on the top 15. He wasn't ranked. It's his second fight in the UFC. He's a doctor in the IMSS in Mexico.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
this dude is like second fight, and he beat this. I think the guy that he fought, I can't remember the name right now, but I think he was ranked like either it was Font. He's a Puerto Rican dude.
Okay.
I think he was ranked number 10.
Damn.
And it was a tough opponent. Like it was a tough fight for him. He stepped in last minute.
Yeah.
Dude, like he was like conscious about his, he was really humble about like, like, hey, I'm not top 15. Like, so he was really careful, but then he was just waiting. Everything that he was throwing was with intention.
Okay.
He was going every single time. He was like, like going with those hard kicks, hard punches. And he actually like, he won the fight.
Damn.
So this dude, like literally on his second fight in the UFC, Mexican dude, like it was a great night for the Mexican, like crowd. All the Mexicans actually won.
Dope.
Which I mean, Noche UFC is kind of like for
It
for
should
the
be
Mexican-
going for that way.
yeah, because last year it was terrible. Like I think we only won like a couple. So it was great. I can't remember the name of the guy. Like I say, he's an up and comer, but he's already made it to the top 15, top 10 actually.
That's a beautiful thing about the fight game. All you need is a chance.
Yeah.
And any given, I guess, I'm assuming MMA is the same as boxing. You get that one solid connection and your money. You know what I mean? But it's you've got to be ready for everything, right? And I know with MMA, it's not only you got to be ready for the hands, you got to be ready to get taken down. You got to see the feet now, the elbows. And I just can't comprehend how, like the way there's so much things that you got to be on the lookout for, so you don't get rocked, so you don't get knocked out, so you don't get I can't. Last week we actually had a doctor on here. I'm not sure if you know him, Dr. Robin Velasquez.
No.
He does
actually,
the Neuro Peak.
Yeah.
This dude is
He's from
insane.
He normally comes out when Cepeda has Javier Cepeda. He's fought for us a couple times, 3 times I think, and he normally comes like with him.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
No, yeah, the stuff that he was talking to us about, the way he was showing us, the stuff that he does, well, he's working with the fighter, the way he gets the time to slow down, and you're able to focus, and that way the pressure's not as bad, and it's easier because you're seeing so many things during this training that it's so wild how the neurological side of it, which a lot of people don't think about, because usually when you think about fighters, you're thinking about like 2 barbarians.
Yeah.
And you're trying to see who's the strongest one, and you don't ever really think about who's the smartest one. And this dude, the work that he does, man.
He's working on the IQ.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's working not only on the IQ but on your reaction time.
Yeah.
And being able to see when there's an opening and then connecting on that opening.
Yeah.
That way, the way he was saying it, like one of his last fighters that he had, because he says he works with some of the UFC guys, is that he said that even though he was fighting, that everything just looks slow motion, because everything there's been throwing so much things at him during the training. Yeah. That it was just like easy to connect on almost every other hit that he was throwing, which is kind of crazy, right? Because it's wild and it's hard at the same time. But I mean, when you train a certain thing, it's cool to see it work and pay off. Yeah. I know you're talking about the reach that you had, going all the way out to Florida. I think a lot of the fights when I was there for CFC 3, a lot of the fighters were out of Phoenix and. Yep. Tucson area, that really caught my eye. I was like, damn, that's
one of our principles. Like we don't file Paso versus El Paso.
Okay.
We call it the secret sauce, but we put it out there all the time. Because it takes having a solid, brand and promotion to be able to pull the talent from out of town. Right. So that's what we call it, secret sauce, but it's not really like we put it out there, because you still got to stand behind it and like be able to do it for people to come out. Right. Obviously it costs us money to bring people from out of town, but at the end of the day, it's for the show. Like, we, once again, because, obviously our local guys aren't, like as famous, like not everybody in town knows them. We make it easy for them to pick like a favorite. Right. So, you add your red corner, your local guy, and then you have the guy, like this, typically, they'll come out with either a Mexican song or like just something that's relatable to the city. Right. And then you have the opponent, coming from Albuquerque, coming from Tucson, coming from Phoenix. Right. This time, this upcoming card, we have 2 fighters out of Colombia.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, all the way from South America.
Damn.
So, that's how far we're talking about, all this, like popular guys from Florida, whatever. Like, we have international fighters coming, Damn. We've had some Mexican ones, but it's kind of like given. Yeah. Because we're like right across the border. Yeah.
We're part of us.
Yeah, but Colombia, to me, that's been such a big accomplishment, to have the attention of South America. And for them, like, hear the feedback that we're the biggest platform that they're ever being scheduled to fight on.
Damn, that's awesome. That is so awesome. Now I know, like, the UFC, they have their own gyms where they they bred their fighters or train their fighters once they get in. Do you guys have your own gym, or is that something that's in the works? Or
that's definitely like in the business plan. Like, we've only been around for a year and a half. Yeah. But so Carlos, my partner, he actually does own his own gym, right? Okay. Like, that's separate from CFC. Like, that's his own thing. That's kind of like where, like, everything, like, he prepared for this moment, and that's how he had the contact with all these fighters. He has he corners all these fighters. He trains all these fighters, right? Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely in the plan. So, I'll share a little bit of it, like, with you. We actually look forward in the next 3 to 5 years to start and like the development of, our own, combat sports arena. Okay. That it's not only going to be, for, MMA, it can be for boxing, for anything. And we also, because we know that we don't have enough, talent to be having a show every other weekend or every weekend. We plan on doing immersive shows in there, not to be anywhere near what the Sphere is, but like where you can have, like you can be watching a UFC fight or a boxing match, and you feel like you're actually at the place live, but it's an immersive show. Like, you get it done.
There's a spot in was it Dallas or Austin that's doing that for like the football games and
correct.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
so that's the plan. Like, we want to do that, and then you take down the it's not screens, it's more like projectors. You take them down, and you're back onto like actually seeing like the ring or the octagon or whatever you need. Aside from that, like, we also at the location we want to have the gym, the recovery center, the nutrition center, everything, because our goal is to make El Paso a hotbed for MMA and any combat sports, really.
So besides here, cause I know like Holly Holm and there's a lot of people that would be out of Cruces, right? That would actually, that was kind of a hotbed for a bit too, right? For like an MMA. Albuquerque, yeah. Cruces, because I know Holly Holm was, I want to say she was out here at Cruces helping out also. Might have been after she got out of UFC, because she was training over here where Jennifer Hahn was training. And I think they had the same trainer, actually, if I remember correctly. Is that the closest bed of like hot spot around here?
I think Albuquerque is. Albuquerque is, yes.
That's the closest one?
Yep.
Damn. But I mean, like I said, dude, the fact of everything that you're mentioning, that, and it's, I can't always ask. It'd be unfair for me to ask, like, well, what's the big plan? 3 5, because once somebody hears something, everybody's want to try to bite it, right? So I'm not gonna. So I mean, so many things could happen, so many things could change.
Yeah.
The fact of to think that something like that could be here in El Paso is amazing. Yeah. And this gym, say if you get this gym going, will you be welcoming in like also like the local boxers? 100%. Because I'm like, well, what else is there? 'Cause would you guys be thinking about throwing in maybe like a mixed MMA fight with boxing and then like a bare knuckle, or is that all just too much crazy shit going on? Or?
As you notice, like I called it a combat sports complex. You know,
Right.
it's not gonna be only for like MMA.
One or the other.
Like MMA encompasses all the martial arts, really.
Right.
So like we can host Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, tournaments. We can host boxing matches, bare knuckle. Like I mean, you name it. Like the whole idea is when I started training myself, Cujo, like I realized how important it is to hand this to every single individual. So we're actually, like we're also starting as part of this coalition and like this effort. We're starting a nonprofit. We're starting a foundation, right? And what we want to do is we want to build champions in life. You know, like I appreciate that you called me a fighter, but I do put myself out there to in exhibitions, like smokers and stuff like that, and just so I can at least understand a little bit of what the guys that put on a show for us do. Right. But I mean, like being a fighter is a full-time job. Like and these guys
you can't play fighting.
Yeah, no, and these guys, they have a full-time job, and on top of that, they're fighters too. So like most of those guys, like they don't make money fighting, especially when you're amateur. Yeah. You're actually like, it's a money pit. You're throwing money, you're throwing your time. So like I said, I do put myself out there, like I've done like 4 exhibitions myself. And that's just for me to, like understand, what they put themselves through at a way, way smaller scale. Right. And I kind of like, I like to lead from the front, like I wouldn't ask you to do something that I'm not willing to, at least on a lower scale, willing to do myself. Right. But yeah, like we're open definitely, to all the different like combat sports in the area. That will help us also have more, more stuff there. Like the gym will be open to anything. And the goal is to get this discipline, this all the benefits, all the confidence like that you get out of doing this stuff, right, to the kids that can really attain it. Because Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu programs are expensive. Boxing is expensive, so we really want to put out there for the kids that needs it the most, and make it attainable for them.
Yeah, and here in El Paso, unfortunately, that is quite a lot of bit of our population, and it's also it's if it's what I'm imagining what you're speaking about, it's a way for these kids to stay out of trouble too, because. When you have so much either anger or whatever it is that you got going on, especially with these nowadays, with all this, so much problem comes from this fucking phone, Yep. Where back in the days we wish we could have so much knowledge available at our fingertips. We have it now, and of course we use it to, instead of bring each other up, we use it to bring each other down, and create so much fucking chaos in our daily lives that. The only outlet sometimes is to hit something, and the fact that you're able to bring that, provide that, hopefully in the future for the 915, for the people here, it's amazing, dude. Because it's
never in my life I thought, Cujo, that I was gonna be punching someone, and then right after being like, "Fuck yeah, dude!" Like like laughing about it and hugging each other, like, "Thank you for fucking pushing. Thank you for like hitting me hard." Because that's the level of respect that you get with a sparring partner, with a teammate. Like it's crazy. I would have thought like every single, like if somebody punches me, I'm more like I'm gonna lose my composure, and and it's like no, like like I heard this saying the other day, and I like it defines me. Like I 100% agree. Like it was something along the lines of like, if you're not able of violence, you're and I gotta check it out, but like it was along the lines of like, if you're not capable of violence, that doesn't make you peaceful. That just makes you like not capable of violence, right? But when you're able of like like you're capable of violence and you choose not to, that's what truly makes you peaceful. Because like exactly, like that. And that's I made that, I had that wrong assumption. When I first walked into the gym and started training, I would actually ask Carlos. I'm like, oh, this dude is 18 years old. He can whoop my ass. A grown as adult. I'm like, he must be going out and getting fights. Right. And he'll be like, no. Matter of fact, like he doesn't drink. He doesn't go out. He's actually very like dedicated. And when he does drink or he like does do something, if somebody was to pick a fight on him, he will walk away. And he would tell me, he's like, you have no idea how many times we look like the biggest pussies,
Right.
Because we walk away. But it's like, what is the fucking point?
Yep.
I know I can end this guy in like, a matter of seconds. Like, why would I even, put myself out there? Like now you're also risking, like getting jumped or like other things. So it's like, I'd rather, walk away. So that's kind of what I'm telling you. And honestly, a little bit of training, Cujo. Like, it doesn't take much.
Right.
A little bit of training, and you'll be able to defend yourself and beat the average individual that thinks they know how to fight.
Right.
Even the juice heads, like these guys that are like, they're big, they lift weights.
Yeah, they can't fight.
They can't fight for shit.
No, they're too slow because they got so much muscle that by the time they don't even know how to move.
But even if you got a runner, the moment you learn how to use your kicks, the moment you learn how to use a little bit of technique, a little bit of footwork, you're already above, like well above the average, individual that doesn't know, that doesn't have any kind of formal training.
Yeah.
So it takes, I would say, like, I would recommend that everyone tries any kind of martial art for at least 6 months. And that would already set you apart from the average individual.
Well, I know my old co-host, Vince, he was telling me he was taking, so he's the one that, he was always huge into MMA. Like, UFC was his thing. Like, McGregor was his guy. The Diaz brothers.
Yeah.
And we had got out to Vegas to go see Mayweather and Pacquiao. And I think that same weekend, the Diaz brothers were out there fighting also. So he ran into him. He got, the whole nine, And he was telling me that just recently, I want to say about less than a year ago, he started getting into MMA more, like, in depth and actually doing it. And he's like, this dude's, he's like you said, he's in good shape. He works out. He's solid, but he's getting manhandled by 18-year-olds that have been there for, X amount of time. And he's like, dude, it's fucking crazy. And of course, the average guy would be like, dude, what kind of, what's wrong with you? But like you said, if you know what you're doing, it's unfair to take advantage of a grown. You could do whatever you want to a grown ass man.
Yeah.
And De La Hoya said it when they asked, if he got in a lot of fights in high school. He's like, well, no, because if I'm not getting paid, what's the point? And it makes a lot of sense, you know. Now let's go into the training. So you're what discipline is it? Is it kickboxing that you're only doing, or is it the whole MMA?
Not the whole MMA.
or-
I've done a couple of classes, with grappling. Yeah, like I try to fit, as much as I can of training in my schedule.
Right.
But I actually got my son enrolled in jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
He's only 4 years old, because I was like, I want him to get that base. First of all, like, I don't want him to start getting hit too early on, because then I don't want him to be afraid of it. But then I wish I would have done it earlier, because now that I tasted kickboxing or Muay Thai, or the striking piece of it, for me, grappling, it's not boring, but if I ever want to pursue anything with MMA, I will have to have at least a base in that. So I've done a couple, I've rolled, but like, I thought, I'm like, what can go wrong? Like, but like, I pulled a muscle in my back and all that. I'm like, oh shit. Like, it's actually, it's a lot of strain. It's a hard discipline too. It's just like, to me, I gotta pick and choose, and I really love striking. So like, I don't have enough time to be doing everything. So
when you do this, you said it was your fourth smoke show you did. What is the training like? How far in advance do you know that you're gonna participate in the show?
It's a hit or miss. Sometimes Carlos is like, hey, you're fighting, and that's the thing with like. That's the beautiful part of in the relationship we have as coach and and trainee, as friends and as a business partners. He tells me, hey, I have a show coming up, you're fighting. Okay. No questions fucking asked. He's my coach. Right. Just like in business, when he's like, hey, I need this, I'm gonna be bringing this fighters. I'm like, fuck yeah. You're the expert. That's your lane. Have at it, Right. Just when I bring up like a thing that he doesn't understand, such as like when I was talking about the foundation, and he's like, I don't really know, but like have at it. Yeah. Like I say, if it's for the best of the business, do it. And that's such I tell him all the time, and I'm not I have other business partners out there, but I tell him all the time, and I tell it to my other business partners. He's by far the best business partner I've ever had. Yeah. And like I think that dynamic is what's made the company grow as big as it's grown.
Well, like I said, dude, from what I've seen, like I said, for me to be out there, not really big on MMA, And that's for like the big guys, right? Like the UFC guys. And for me to be out there at a local show in El Paso, 40 degrees in the coldest fucking day in El Paso, and I was just like, I was enamored by everything that was out there. The bells and whistles were, I mean, the way the stage was set up, to the entrance, to the then it turns out I knew like some of the coaches that were out there,
Nice.
like Jackie from Bloodline.
Yep.
Yeah, because I had him because of his relation that he had with Kayla and Ivy and all those boxers, and I was like, oh shit, this dude's, that's his forte also. So it's pretty interesting when I'm able to see something that looked like out of a pay-per-view locally here in El Paso. And when you see it, you're like, dude, this guys didn't spare like a penny for anything. These guys went balls to the wall.
Again, it all goes back to the support that we get from Speaking Rock.
Yeah.
For sure. And I mean, obviously, we kind of direct everything that we want, that we like, we kind of like wish, and they make it happen. So like, that's amazing. We couldn't do it without them.
Yeah.
But yeah, to that, like, I love getting this reaction, Cujo. Like, kind of what you're mentioning is like, when I show someone, because you got to see it live, right?
Right. Yeah.
Which I think, I mean, the videos don't do justice to it. But
No,
like, even
don't.
when people watch the videos, they're like, is this in El Paso?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, fuck yeah. That's exactly the reaction that I want. I want you guys to be like, this is such a high-level production, and show that I'm looking through a video. And like I said, the videos don't do no justice to what the actual show is in live.
Yep.
But when I get that reaction of like, this doesn't seem to be like a El Paso company. This doesn't seem to be like because it looks like, oh shit, like did this happen in Vegas? Did this happen in in New York? Something like that. That tells me that we're doing something right.
You absolutely are.
And our biggest thing is like, every single show has to be better.
Right.
Attendance has to increase. We went from show number 1, 1,400 people, show number 2, 1,800 people, show number 3, 2,400 people. That's the one you went to, and it was cold as fuck, and it was raining that morning, and like we were like, oh shit, like maybe tickets are not gonna go that well.
Right.
People didn't give a shit.
No.
They were asking like, hey, is the show on? Like, we want to show up. Like, fuck yeah.
Everybody's out there. San Marcos on, trying to stay warm, man.
And then our most recent one, 2,857 was the final head count. Like I said, we've had a pretty constant growth of about 20 to 25%, and we want to continue to do that. But it's not only that. Every time we're looking at what did we do wrong. Like the moment you stop looking for the room for improvement, that's when you get stagnant. So it's like, what went wrong? How do we fix it? And how do we make the show better? Every single time we're trying to add new things, different things, just to make the experience, like pleasant, whether you're a UFC enthusiast, MMA practitioner, or you're just a husband and wife that are looking, a family, like a 5 that is looking for something to do that weekend.
Right. So how do you go about getting that feedback? Like, do you get that feedback from the actual people that are there, or do you have like how do you go about getting that feedback of what went wrong? Is it just on the logistical side that you're looking at, what went wrong, or are like people coming up to you during the fights? Are people like, I don't know. I guess they do emails.
It's on everything. It's on everything. Like we do an internal one. We do a debrief. We do skip the very next week because we have weekly meetings, right? Like the very next week we don't have a meeting. Because it's right now we're in crunch time. Like right now it's like it's actually a very busy time for us. So I normally hey, the following week we're skipping we skip the meeting, but then we do a debrief 2 weeks after. As you can see, everything has protocols, everything has processes, and that's just like I said, it's not a secret. I'm putting the recipe out there for the guys that are trying to make it happen. Make it happen. Don't treat it as a fight. Like, treat it as a business. So, but yeah, so to answer your questions, we put surveys out there. The very next day. Next time you acquire a ticket, we'll get you taken care of with some tickets. Actually, matter of fact, like, let's give some tickets to your audience. Okay. We'll do like you run the giveaway. Just give us a list of names, and we'll send out some tickets to them. Help us follow the page. Let's put out there, like, let's do something but we send out a survey the very next day, and if you fill out the survey, you actually get a free ticket for our next event.
Oh, nice.
So that incentivizes people to get I don't understand why there isn't 2,857 surveys filled out from the last show, right? Because you pretty much guarantee a ticket for the next show,
for sure.
So We do have a good ratio. Like, like a bunch of people do answer the surveys, but like that's how we get the feedback from the crowd.
Right.
Then we also go like with all our directors all over different, departments, say like what went wrong, how can we improve? Like that's the other thing. Like this, I know I mentioned Carlos and I, because we're the co-founders. Like, and yeah, it was him and I and David at the time. That we all started this, but now we have Marco, as the partner relations director. We have John as the marketing director. We have Chris Hill as the media director.
Yep.
His number 2, Johnny. Like we recently, brought in, Joseph Sapien as, the director of advancement. More like he's going to be taking over the, like the foundation side of things.
Okay.
So it takes a village,
Sure.
it takes a village, and we're doing it right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And like I said, and when I went to the to CFC 3, shout out to it was Johnny from A-Town, and now I saw Jimmy's in there. Jimmy Dukes is around, and they're like, dude, great fucking people. To the work that they put in, the videos that these guys capture and put out. I mean, it's top notch here in El Paso, and it's cool to see that. And one of the best things that I know, men being men here in El Paso, guys, let me tell you right now, for me to stay out there 30-degree weather, these CFC girls, yo, and I know, so I could say this because I know my roommate don't listen, so these CFC girls is for reals, man, and I appreciate that. One of the reasons that I was always, when John had put me in contact with you, is that I wanted to kind of push CFC also when we did the pillow fight, and luckily you guys were able to provide us with the ring girls, which was, I mean, dude, that just sets everything apart, because not only do you have, the show, but then you have the side show with beautiful women up there, doing their thing, and I'm sure they're amazing girls. Because I mean, I had all but like 2 minutes to talk to them. Like you said, when you're running in the show and we're doing like live commentary ourselves and running the show at the same time, it's kind of hard to go out and, hey, how you doing? It's kind of hard to meet people and get a truly conversation with them. Yeah. So like I don't know how you do it for like on fight night. I guess it's a little bit easier for you guys because everybody has a different piece of the pie, and once that the fight is here, the work's kind of done already. The groundwork's already laid out. Now it's just
not really
making sure everything's followed through.
I've watched, I would say like 95% of the fights on video.
Okay.
I never get a chance to sit down and actually like watch the fights.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like to your point, like I mean, we have absolutely stunning, beautiful, Octagon girls. Like they're amazing. We're growing the team. I think we're up to like 7 or 8 now. Yeah. And we only want to like we actually have a target of like like getting 15, 20. Like if anybody in your audience, like they're interested, if they think they're a good fit. Like and this it's crazy because I just recently found out from Des, we had this event with the City Magazine last week, and then she was telling me that she has a marketing degree. And I was like, holy cow, I didn't know that.
Well, we could have used that for the beginning.
No, exactly, yeah. So like we have talented women. Yeah. I think like a couple of them have degrees or they're pursuing school. Like they're the whole package. Yeah. And then they're amazing. They're outgoing. They're very friendly, like they really know what they're doing. Yeah. And it goes back to like doing everything the proper way, right? Like my mission from day one with the Octagon girls was like, okay, I wanna create what the Cowboys did with the cheerleaders. Okay. Like I talked to them from day one. Hey, this is an independent brand. Mm-hmm. We're piggybacking off of CFC, but like this is, as you see, like if you go to social media, they have their independent social media. Yep. So yeah, we're also building a brand there. It's a little bit slower because I mean, there's only so many things that we can do, right? but yeah, I mean, all these girls are, big following, beautiful girls, like I said, either pursuing degrees or already have some degrees, smart ladies, and like they definitely they're great at what they do. And like I said, we're looking at growing the team. So if like feel free to DM whether it's the Octagon Girls like Instagram or the main account. CFC.
Jules and I will personally make sure that you guys have top notch people. We will go through. We will sacrifice our time. To help out and make sure that you get the cream of the crop, because we don't. I mean, there's somebody for everybody, right?
Yep.
But we want to make sure that, like you said, top notch, a level on everything, accommodations and everything. I want to make sure. I feel it's my duty.
It's your obligation.
It's my obligation.
You were cut out for this.
If I ever had a time to shine, it definitely would be for this.
This is it.
Yeah, and the best part is I'm old, so I know I don't even. You don't have to worry about me hitting on them. I'm too old for. I could probably be their dad. Shit. Damn, that's sad.
That's actually like I that's been one of the toughest challenges too, like with recruiting girls for this, because like I mean, like, you know, I've tried to hire a girl to do it.
Okay.
It's just like you know, like we just haven't had the right fit, you know, for like somebody to manage that portion. Just because like the last thing I want is like for me to reach out to someone like legitimately interested on her doing a duty for us,
right?
And then she thinks like we're trying to hit on them, you know, like and I mean this typically, like, you know, these girls have like big followership.
Yeah.
And I mean, they get massive amounts of, you know, like,
oh yeah, they get all kinds
DMs
of stuff
and all
DMs,
kinds of stuff. So like, yeah, like the thing is like a lot of them are coming, you know, from like even referrals within them, you know, like so. But absolutely, you know, like I'll
dude,
throw you in that.
I got you, bro.
I'll put you in that,
bro. We will have this shit. I'll have at least 30 of.
I'll put you on the committee.
Do you mind having somebody in a wheelchair? Because I mean, dude, we accept everybody. But no, that's like you said, it's definitely one of the things, and that, like when I saw them, the professionalism, right? When you're talking about professionalism, about these girls being not only easy on the eyes, but to have that mind. Yep. When I was seeing these girls out there, like I said, 30-degree weather, they're in shorts and their tank top. I was like, how the hell are they not out? Like you didn't even see them like quiver at all. Nope. Like I was like, dude, the professionalism of these girls is wild. Like I'm freezing I had it any, like my shit was like a scared turtle. Like it was bad. And I was like, dude, how are these girls just smiling up there? Like
it took a little bit of liquid courage, I'll tell you that.
I'd have to imagine so, because I was like, Jesus Christ.
It took a little bit of liquid courage, but like that was the first and last. You know, like like none of us drink during the events, but I mean that day was cold. Yeah. So yeah, like you
gotta warm up the body.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. No, like I said, it's definitely the one of the best things that I loved. I'm not sure how many people actually took advantage or saw it. At the event at Speaking Rock, right behind the entrance where they have the entrance walk, they have the big huge screens in the back where you could see, and that's where they show, you know, the fight card for the dude coming in, and it shows them, you know, where he's from, his fight, his height, and all that. Yep. On the opposite side where the bar's at, you have that same thing, and it's showing the fight there, and it's amazing. The quality, everything about the show is top notch. And that's one of the things that for sure, like I said, I told John when he invited me, and I told him afterwards, I was like, dude, thanks. This is something that was fucking, that I needed, you know, because I started getting a little bit more into MMA. I started seeing a little bit more of the fights, started getting, you know, my interest was piqued because of what you guys did. And that's dude, that is crazy. To have this here in El Paso,
that's part of the mission. Like it's part of the mission to grow the market share for MMA in El Paso. Because we talked about it. You know, boxing currently holds most of it. Yeah. You know, like yes, MMA is the fastest growing sport in the world. Right. But boxing still has a lot of, you know, like it's a lot bigger. Yeah. Still, like there's a lot more of a fan base in the boxing side of things. So we're just looking to put El Paso on the map first, and then, you know, like start expanding into the entire Southwest. And you know, our goal is to become the largest and main feeder to the UFC.
Yeah. Well, what you guys are doing, man, you guys are doing good. And I know you just had not too long ago, you had some of the UFC people down here too, right?
We've managed to have. From day one, managed to have some sort of like UFC presence, whether it's a former fighter, current champion. You know, I'll start like, you know, first couple of shows we had Ray Borg like cornering like his team, you know. Damn. Anthony Burchak, who started like coming in as a corner, then he tried out the commentary, and like now he became our official announcer. Then we've had a special guest, you know, Chito Vera. We've had Valentina Shevchenko stop by and, you know, like and support some of her teammates that were fighting. She camps out here, so like, you know, like some of her teammates were like fighting, so she stopped by, and, you know, like that was amazing to have her, you know, like just drop by and, you know, like go support her, you know,
Right.
her team. But I mean, you know, being present at our show, you know,
That's
like
sick.
the #1 female fighter in the world, you know, that
That's
was amazing.
wild.
Our most recent show, Brandon Moreno, you know, Alexa Grasso, amazing people. You know,
Yeah.
I got to share a lot with, you know, like both of them.
Yeah.
Picked up, you know, like Brandon at the airport, you know, came across the border, you know, like
Yeah.
it was awesome, you know, like we've had Carlos Condit, you know, like at some of our shows.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping I'm not forgetting anyone, but like, yeah, no, like everyone, you know, like has been amazing. We're still trying to see who we're bringing on board, like, you know, for this next one.
Right.
We're kind of leaning more, Cujo, to like the like a different crowd though. Like I mean, we feel like, you know, the MMA crowd is already locked in, so we want to try to bring different things, like whether it's maybe a comedian, maybe like a singer. You know, we're actually, I don't know when this is launching, but I'm gonna tell you, like, we already, I don't know if you heard of the Grammy Award winner that we have here locally, Roger Argenis.
Okay.
He's gonna be performing the national anthem, and we're
Nice.
still working out some details so he can like perform like mid show. You know,
Oh,
like,
wow.
like,
Okay.
you know, like,
Put a little performance on for the people.
Yes,
Give a little bit extra for their ticket price.
exactly.
That's awesome. Yeah. So this should be coming out on Monday. Yeah, Monday. And then so CFC 5 Back for Blood. Chavez and Bustamante. Is that the main fight right now?
Yes, sir.
Is that scheduled to change, I guess, if there's any injuries or whatnot, but
Yeah,
or that's locked.
Something big. No, what I mean, it's scheduled to, you know, happen.
Right.
But something that we learned from, you know, like I said, every time we have to get better, right?
Right.
Something that I learned from the last show when we lost 6 fights in a matter of a week on the
Yeah.
week off. We overbooked this one. You know,
Okay.
like that was another like thing from, and which I love the amount of pressure that we get from Speaking Rock.
Yeah.
Because they were like, hey, we want a minimum of 12 to 14 fights.
Okay.
I was like, okay, that makes sense, you know, because that's normally what we've got. So
Right.
when we went down to 11, they were like, hey,
What
what time is this going to end? Is it going to end at 9? You know, like we got them used to,
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
having the crowd, you know, out there for a long time. So they're like, hey, have backups, you know, like do it just like the UFC does it. You know, like we'll support you however we can, you know, like, and again, like amazing support from them.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, perfect. So we actually overbooked this one. We
Yeah.
have, I think at some point, Carlos was up to 19 fights.
Damn.
Yeah, but like we have an expectation of some, you know,
Right,
like
yeah,
that
falling
some,
out.
yeah. But
Yeah.
if we don't, then we'll figure it out. You know,
No.
like I got the green light from you know, Speaking Rock. They said if it's 2:00, you know, in the AM, like hits, you need to keep going.
That's beautiful.
So that's amazing. But no, we're trying to be you know, conscious of, you know, the crowd.
Yeah.
That's another key point. You know, like this is one of the few events, if not the only one, that you will be able to attend at Speaking Rock as a family.
Right.
You know, all ages welcome. It's not 21 and over.
Mm-hmm.
So we try to be mindful of that. You know, like I've brought my son before too, like, and I know how it is. So I want to make sure that that we keep it on a timely manner.
Yeah. So as far as for like the different promotions that you've seen, because I mean, I'm sure, you know, people say that, you know, to see the competition and whatnot. Like you see the different things that the UFC is doing, and the thing that the bare knuckle are doing, whatever Jake Paul's doing with MVP or whatnot. Like what's some of the things that you could take away that you want to add, like to make the fan experience a lot better?
Kind of what I just talked to you about, like rather than just bringing, you know, like special guests, because
Right.
like the special guests, yeah, like they would like, you know, like they don't really do any performance. Like we get
Right.
to like share a little bit. Like some people get to take some pictures, some people get to get some like, you know, like autographs.
Yeah.
But I think we want to add more of performances, you know, like something that, like you said, like people can get a little bit extra for their buck, you know,
right.
like, you know, I mean, they pay to go watch some amazing fights, you know, and like, hey, we also got a little bit of entertainment, you know,
Yeah.
like we've also considered, you know, like having a little dancing, you know, like
Throw a DJ in there.
Yeah. Like my biggest thing is, you know, like we want to keep trying different things, and, you know, and just trying to provide good entertainment for the whole crowd.
Yeah, the show within the show is what it is, because like you said, after a while, you know, you kind of, you know, if you're gonna have the all 19 fights, you gotta have kind of something like the monotonous of the same thing over and over. You gotta have something to break it up and keep it entertaining. And one of the things that I did love is that you had the CFC girls out there throwing out a bunch of merch and stuff like that,
Yes.
and you know, getting the and your announcer, he had he the job that he did when he started seeing that, you know, the energy kind of stopped dropping, like when it was his time to come on, like in between fights and stuff like that. Like he was hyping the crowd. He was doing that crowd work, which is fucking
important.
That's super important because, like you said, once you know, you can only see so many or one thing so much. After a while, it starts to be like, all right, oh, this guy's fighting again. But you know, when you have that break in between, you have that laugh in between, you feel more refreshed for the next fight, especially because, you know, on the, like you said, the local level, a lot of these guys aren't really known around here, especially because of the way El Paso is if you're not a champ and on TV, it's hard to get that support.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're able to, you know, show personality here and there, that's
We have some people
pretty
like
dope.
I gotta give like we always mention, you know, Nico de la Salle. He comes from New Mexico. He comes from Albuquerque, but he pretty much became like a local guy, you know, because
Really?
like I remember like I think it was his first fight with us. I can't remember if it was CFC 2 or 3.
Okay.
But after he wins his fight, he dedicates his win or his victory to Baby Yana, which is his cat.
Oh shit!
And then, like, you know, this dude became like the cat guy. They like,
Really?
like, look, we love the cat guy. Like everybody was referring to him as the cat guy. And like he pretty much now became a red corner guy. You know, he's like a local. I mean, he's giving us the feedback. He's like, I'm never fighting in my hometown again. Like this is my home now. And you know, like he's still out there in Santa Fe or Albuquerque, but he comes out to fight. Yeah, and then the crowd love him. He has a personality. Like we have a couple fighters like that have that personality.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about Chavez, Cristobal. He's the 10th Planet, you know, franchisee holder here in town.
Okay.
Big name, hasn't fought in. He's coming back from
What's a
retirement.
comeback fight?
Yeah, comeback
That's
fight.
why it's back for blood.
Exactly. So like everything has a purpose in what we do.
Right.
So like like Cristobal, like I think the last time he fought, you know, like it was about 8 years ago. I mean, he's been doing jiu-jitsu, you know, like tournaments and stuff like that. But yeah, I think his last MMA fight was about 8 years ago.
So the comeback fight, CFC 5, back for blood, Chavez Bustamante, the main event. It's a pro featherweight bout. Saturday, October 18th, 2025, going down Speaking Rock Entertainment Center. Where can people get tickets? Where can people follow? Where can people get all this information to make the CFC even better than what it is now?
So Combat Fighting Championship or CFC, find it on Instagram. We have a Facebook too. Help us out grow that Facebook audience. Like actually, matter of fact, like if you can, like, you know, when we do the giveaways, you can just ask people to follow our Facebook, because a lot of people follow our Insta but not our Facebook. We're also on TikTok. We're growing that. We're also on YouTube. Go find, you know, all the fights. You can look at all the previous events. You can see how they progressively gotten better. We've added commentary. We've added, you know, low thirds, like different things.
Right.
So go check them out. You know, like it's good to go follow, subscribe, like, you know, like check all those things out there. Our tickets are 100%, you know, like electronic through Eventbrite. If you're on our socials, you'll find the links there on the bio. But if you go straight to Eventbrite, you'll find us there too. Like, you know, we definitely put some budget to promote it and then like, get up there, you know, like but yeah, like you can find it on Eventbrite. That's our ticketing.
So CFC 5, like I said, Chavez Bustamante, Saturday, October 18th. Doors, what are you anticipating right now? Doors open at?
We normally open doors at 5 and fight like kicks off at 7. But there might be a change. We might have a little bit of a change just because we have that, like, you know, we schedule a lot. Yeah, we might shift everything an hour. Yeah, like we might open doors, but we'll make the announcements for sure. Like, you know, as we get closer to it, we just kind of got to gauge where are we at with the fights and everything. But right now we're still overbooked.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're still about less than a month away now. About 3 weeks out about 3 weeks.
Exactly a month. Yeah,
Damn.
we got.
Yeah, damn, we got 4 weeks to make sure that everything goes according to plan. Get your pre-spooky on before Halloween come out. Get your fill of CFC Back for Blood, CFC 5, Chavez Bustamante, Roland. And I'm not saying this, like I said, I gain nothing by kissing anybody's ass, right? The fact of what I experienced, like I want to go, I want to go back. Like it's something that it's cool to see local fighters being put on a stage that looks like it's professionally done. With you could see the love and intent that you have with it, with the way just the setup alone. Not only with the fact that every other fight's a knockout, or if not, it's like I didn't see one bad match when I was out there. And that's something that's rare to see in the fight game nowadays. Whether it be local, whether it be top notch, or whether it be the big names or whatever. This is definitely something that I hope El Paso gets behind, because what you're doing and the future, the model that you're trying to put together, the sky's the limits. You know what I mean? And if not, who was it? Michigan said that the stars are the limit, not the sky, because you can't. Because if you put it at the sky, then you have to cap. You got to go beyond that. What you guys got going on, the people that you have working out there, like I said, Jimmy and Johnny, shout out to you guys, man. The stuff that you guys do, the work that you guys put in, you could tell like it's the thing that I really love about what you guys do is that you guys. I don't think I've ever heard you say no. Whenever the few conversations we've had, I don't think you've ever said no to any idea or whatever I had. It's always, let's figure out how to do it.
Yep.
And that's something that, locally here in El Paso, it's kind of, it's hard to hear that, because people are always, well, what's in it for me? Yeah. One of the other things that I love that you do is that you have the pre-fight or the weigh-ins at a local establishment also. Yep. And that's able to bring in not only like people to see for the CFC, but also for that local establishment, which is fucking amazing. Do you already have the spot set up for?
We don't. We normally like to have it where there's access or close by saunas. So if the fighters need to, like shed a couple pounds or whatever, like we have that access like within the vicinity or at the location. Yeah. But I will announce that as well. Everybody's welcome to come to especially to the. We couldn't have it at the Speaking Rock Entertainment Center last time, the face-offs, the ceremonial one. But everybody's welcome to that. Like, there's no cost. Like you just show up. That one's pretty cool. It's more of the like, it's not the official weigh-in, right? But it's kind of what you normally see on TV. Yeah. That's where the guys face off, and like we call out the weights that they had in the morning. Mm-hmm. The official one is a little more boring. It's more like actually like in the way they're like, hey dude, like go back and shed a couple more pounds, go run a lap or something. So that one, it's a little that one, it's a little more more boring. But definitely we'll put out the establishments that we're gonna be at, and like you said, we like to support local. Right. We're local. Right. So and my biggest thing is, like you mentioned, like collaboration. Mm-hmm. First time you called me, I had no idea who you were, but like you were telling me, I was like, hey, how can I support this? Right. Like, because we lack a lot of collaboration here. Like, everybody thinks of everything as competition. Right. I love what you're doing. You're like, you told me about a platform. That's exactly what we are. We're a platform. You're putting a platform out there for people to come and talk about what they do. Mm-hmm. Yours is more general. I love it, because I can come and share what I'm doing. Like somebody that's an artist, like I love that. I appreciate that. El Paso needs this kind of stuff. We're setting up a platform for fighters. Like, awesome. and that's we're just trying to have like I said, I never in my life you'll hear me say I'm trying to beat the UFC. Hell no. I want to be the largest feeder for them. I know my place, and I just want to contribute, as starting with my city. Right. And we're already in plans to expand into Tucson, Albuquerque, and different other cities. Wow. But we got to start in our own turf. Yeah. We got to do it right here. And I gotta lift my city, and then we'll grow from there. Like, we have big things coming up, just like like the Ring Girls, they have their independent brand. Mm-hmm. We're launching our own, like we licensed the deal with our own merch, just like the UFC does with Venom. Mm-hmm. We're doing something very similar with that. On my head? Yeah. No, that's actually like, that's still not the new stuff. Like, we're rolling out with some really cool new stuff. Dope. The big shout out to the we at some point we work with Blackbird, supporting local. It became time for us to start our own thing, and that's what we're doing. High quality stuff, like daily apparel, like that kind of stuff. Like my biggest thing is like I'll tell you this, like we had the target to get a Spirit liquor or something as a sponsor, and being so new, it's been hard. It's been challenging. Yeah. So I was like, I'm spending all this effort trying to get somebody to believe in us. I'm like, I'm just gonna do it. So it's in my as soon as this show is done, I'm gonna start a like either a mezcal or a tequila or something. And shit, if somebody doesn't believe in the brand, to sponsor it, like, then I'm gonna make the company that's gonna believe in it. There you go. If they don't want to do it, then make it for them, boy. Make your own. Fuck it. That's the way to go. Because only you. Because at the end of the day, like you're saying about competition,
That's one of the things that we've talked about, like all the other podcasts, whatever. Because there's a ton of them here in El Paso. My biggest competition is myself.
Fuck yeah.
You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I'm the one that sets my own limitations, right? And the moment you start competing with other people, then there's something wrong. And that's one of the things that I've always said, with everybody, like when I was talking to Johnny and all the other cats, is like, dude, if we grow, great. If we don't, great. If fucking 3 people here and this makes their day, even better. I just want to give people that platform, just like you do, to have their voice or have their actions or have their fight shown, and that way they could get, they put their piece into the world and say, this is what I am, this is who I am.
Our most recent success story, our champion, Jacobo Martos, fought for us 3 or 4 times, became the champion, defended the title, and he graduated. He's now in Fury. He's now in Fury. He signed with Fury. He's one step below the UFC.
Right.
So that's exactly what we want to do. And then we want to graduate ourselves from where we're at now and then become...
Take over Fury.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Become the same level or bigger than Fury is. Like our LFA or those big enterprises that we're not reinventing the wheel. We're looking at the things that they're doing right, and we're doing that plus a little more.
Well, like I said, from what I've seen, I can't wait to see what CFC 5 Back for Blood, Saturday, October 18th, here at Speaking Rock. Like you said, doors opening around 4 or 5-ish, depending upon how many of these fights still come through.
As of right now, we're still on the 5-7.
Yeah.
If we need to make any adjustments, we'll put it out there.
Yeah.
But that's why we have that buffer of 2 hours, because it's important for you guys to make it out there early.
Right.
A lot of people might wonder why do they open doors at 5 and if they don't start till 7.
Mm-hmm.
People wait in line half an hour before, because even though we have different areas, there's the GA and the VIP.
Right.
It's a first come first serve. There'll be certain rows, and then there's no assigned sitting, so it's really important to come out. I know something that we're gonna be doing on this next one. We're welcoming a new sponsor, First Light Credit Union, and if they open a bank account on site, which it only takes about 3 minutes, there'll be reserved seating, at the very front of every area.
Oh, nice.
So that'll be super cool. So if you don't have a First Light Credit Union, account,
right, time to get it.
Yeah, time to get it. All you got to do is deposit $5, and then you'll be able to, get a front row seating. There'll be assigned seating just for I think it's gonna be the first 80 or 100 people.
Okay, and but make sure if you're gonna get that account, wait till October 18th and do it there.
Yes.
And make sure you get it. You take advantage of that, dude. So I know you're a busy man. Any last words before we go? CFC 5 Back for Blood, Saturday, October 18th. Any last words you have?
Thank you for the platform. Thank you for the time. Bringing this attention. We're happy to give 10 tickets away to your audience.
Okay.
Thank you to all our sponsors: First Light Credit Union, Taylor Lending coming on board. We got Right Drive, big supporter. I love those 3 guys. One is a huge UFC enthusiast. One is a practitioner of jiu-jitsu.
Oh, wow.
And then the third one, he became a huge fan of us, really. Because he was like, I'm not into sports, I'm not into fights, but me and my wife can't wait for the next one. Everything was perfect. The music, the ambience, everything was great. So those are the success stories for me, because it's easy to get the MMA fans. It's easy to get the practitioners. It's hard to get the people that are looking for an experience, and we're providing that. So we just want to spread the word. Thank you for helping us accomplish, spreading the word. We're happy to, give you guys some tickets, and, any sponsors that I'm missing. We love you guys. Cocoon Performance, Cocoon Wellness and Recovery, Elite Kickboxing Academy, Right Drive, First Light Credit Union, Taylor Lending, Nebula, Smart Home. Hopefully I'm not forgetting anyone, but thank you to everyone that it's supporting this cause.
For sure, dude. Like I said, CFC 5 Back for Blood, Chavez Bustamante coming back. His comeback fight Saturday, October 18th. Make sure you go onto CFC Combat Fighting Championship on the Instagram. Let's get that Facebook up. Make sure if you want to go ahead and follow, like I said, the beautiful ladies that are part of it, with the Octagon Girls, which is the CFC. What is it? The Combat Fighting Championship. I'm trying to remember what the
CFC Octagon Girls.
CFC Octagon
you'll
Girls.
find it the logo for us is black and white, and then for them it's red and white.
Red and white. All right.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys go follow all this stuff. Like I said, it's going down, dude. October 18th. the show, it looks top notch from start to finish. I can't wait to go out there and see what you guys got going on. Make sure you guys get these tickets. Look out for all the stuff that they got going on because they're everywhere. Now everywhere. Take advantage of it. Till next time, guys, don't be an asshole. Don't be a dick. Deuces.